Good morning, dear students of class 8. Welcome to the English online learning class. Today we are going to take up the lesson 6 from your main reader Honeydew. This is Jody Swan. Now before we read the lesson, let us read the brief introduction. Often instead of rushing to the doctor to treat a small cut or burn, we find quick and effective cures using things available at home. Can you think of some such home remedies for, say, a cut on your knee, a burn on your arm, a bee sting? Now, if you remember, if you can recall, if any such incident happened with you or anyone in your house, instead of being rushed to the doctor, you were given some home remedy. Can you recall those remedies? There are plenty. In the story, Jody's father has been bitten by a rattlesnake. He quickly kills a doe and uses its heart and liver to draw out the poison. Jody wonders what will happen to the little fawn left without a mother. So, when Jody's father was bitten by a rattlesnake, he used this remedy, killed a doe, and its heart and liver was drawn out to take out the poison. And now Jody wondered what is going to happen to the little one, to the little child of the doe, that is the little fawn who was left without a mother, as the doe mother was killed in the treatment. Now part 1. Jody allowed his thoughts to drift back to the fawn. He could not keep it out of his mind. He had held it in his dreams in his arms. He slipped from the table and went to his father's bedside. Penny lay at rest. His eyes were open and clear, but the pupils were still dark and dilated. So, Jody was thinking about the fawn who was left without a mother, as the mother was killed in the treatment. Now, he just couldn't keep his mind off. Every time he was worried about the little fawn. He could feel in his dreams that he was holding the fawn in his arms. And then he quietly went to his father's bedside. Father Penny was taking rest. His eyes were open and clear, but then in the pupils there was still darkness and dilation. Probably the effect of the snake bite was there. Jody said, "How are you feeling, Pa?" He said to his father, "How are you feeling?" "Just fine, son. Old Death has gone thieving elsewhere." "But wasn't it a close shave?" So he said to his son that he is fine. Now, death, the danger of death is no more there. And then he said to his son that it was a very close shave, means was a narrow escape. "I agree," Penny said. "I'm proud of you, boy, the way you kept your head and did what was needed." So father said to his son that I'm very proud of you, the way you took up the whole situation. Pa: "Yes, son." Pa: "Do you recollect the doe and the fawn?" Now Jody was just thinking about the fawn. What was in his mind, he is telling to his father. Can you recollect the doe that was killed to save you and the fawn? I can never forget them. The poor doe saved me, that's certain. Pa, the fawn may be out there yet. It might be hungry and very scared. So Jody said that, as father said, that he can never forget the doe and the fawn. And he said that he's grateful that the doe had saved his life. Jody said, Pa, the fawn would be still there and would be very hungry and scared. I suppose so. Pa, I'm a big boy now and don't need to drink milk. Why don't I go and see if I can find the fawn? So Jody said to his father to let him go and see the fawn as he can manage to go alone and bring it here and raise it. Penny lay quiet, staring at the ceiling. Staring means looking at the ceiling, at the roof. So Jody was asking permission from his father to allow him to go to the forest, bring the fawn, bring it home, and take care of it. Boy, you have got me hemmed in. Hemmed in means I am caught in a situation where I cannot say no. It won't take much to raise it, Pa. It will soon start eating leaves and acorns. So the child said that it will not take much care and attention to bring him up, because as the fawn grows, he's going to eat leaves and acorns, small brown nuts. You are smarter than boys of your age, father said. You are a very smart boy. At your age, you can convince me like this. That means that you are very smart. Petukit's mother, it wasn't to blame. So now Jody has had another point of argument. He said that it is right to bring the fawn because we have killed its mother. Surely it seems ungrateful to leave it to starve, son. I can't say no to you. I never thought I'd live to see another day. So Penny father said, yes, you are right. It is not right. It would be ungrateful to leave the fawn to starve and die. Now I cannot say no to you because I never thought that I am going to live. Can I ride back with Millville and see if I can find it? So the boy says that please let me allow me to go with Millville so that I can find it. Tell your ma I said you can go. So you can tell your mother that I have given you permission. He sidled back to the table and sat down. He walked back quietly to the table and sat down. His mother was pouring coffee for everyone. She was preparing coffee. He said, Ma, Pa says I can go bring back the fawn. She held the coffee pot in the midair. What fawn? The fawn belonging to the doe we killed. We used the doe's liver to draw out the poison and save Pa. So mother said, which fawn? Then Jody said, the same fawn whose mother we have killed to save father. She gasped. Well, for pity's sake, Pa says it would be ungrateful to leave it to starve. Even father is of the opinion it is not right to leave the doe to starve and die, to be without food. Doc Wilson said, that's right, ma'am. Nothing in the world comes quite free. the boy is right and his daddy is right. So Doc Wilson also said that when we take something from anyone or nature, we have to return it back because we have to pay the price. And the boy and father is right. Melville said, he can ride back with me. I will help him find it. So Melville also said that Jody can come with me and I am going to help find the fawn. She set down the pot helplessly. Well, if you will give it your milk, we have nothing else to feed it. So she said, fine, but then you will have to share your milk with the fawn. Melville said, come on boy, we've got to get riding. So Melville and Jody, now they set for finding the fawn in the forest. Ma Buxter asked anxiously, you will not be gone long along. Jody said, I will be back before dinner for sure. So he said to mother that, don't worry, I am going to return back by dinner. Melville mounted his horse and pulled Jody up behind him. So Melville, he sat on his horse, mounted means sat, and Jody was behind him. He said to Melville, do you think the fawn's still there? Will you help me find him? So now Jody was asking Melville that, do you think that fawn is going to be there? And are you going to help me find it? We'll find him if he's alive. How do you know it is a he? So Melville said, if the fawn is alive, we are going to find him. But how do you know it is a he? The spots were all in a line. On a doe fawn, Pa says, the spots are every which way. So the boy said, because this sort of learning was given to him by his father. The spots are all in a line on a doe fawn. Pa says the spots are every which way. So because Penny was very he knew about forest, wildlife, and he also told his son Jody about it. And that is why Jody knew that the fawn was a male fawn. So we'll stop here and we'll continue with the remaining lesson in the next class. Thank you, students.